a special little brother.
Mr. Bale, congrats on the film. I watched it for the second time at the premiere last evening. And watching Andy at the end was so special because he was so relieved and so overjoyed at the film because it's been a long journey. How would you say your relationship with the film has evolved over the months and years?
It's been a film that I visit from time to time. I'm very fond of Andy, and I know the struggle that he's had in finishing this, and it's been a real labor of love for him. And I first talked with Andy and started work on this when my son was only 2 months old, and now my son is 4 and here running around. But for me, I would go off and make other films in a more intense manner of months of solid work, and then speak with Andy and go back and do a couple of days here, a couple of days there. A very different kind of a filmmaking with it being performance capture, but Andy is the master of that, so he was able to guide me. But I think he's done something really quite incredible. And the thing I found really intriguing is that the sentiment, the feeling of this film is one that usually I would associate with an independent film. It's very bold. It doesn't make compromises in the way that many big budget films do, because naturally they have to make their money back. This film had an enormous budget, was beautifully done. I mean, the animation here is absolutely phenomenal. But the themes stay very true to Kipling's original writings. And it's a fascinating piece. It's really quite beautiful.
Yeah, you worked with some of the best filmmakers, from Chris Nolan to now Adam McKay. How would you say Andy surprised you as a filmmaker? Because this is his first film, essentially.
Well, yes, when he started this, it was his first film. He made another film whilst he was making this, and then finished up on this as well. Andy's always had incredible talent. I first met Andy when I was 19, and he has always been an excellent actor. And I think just by his nature, he's a very, not only astute and intelligent man, but he's very compassionate as well. And so he creates a wonderful creative environment. I think you'll be seeing many films from him.
As someone who's known for the physical and emotional transformations, would you say the motion capture technology is an extension of, or an evolution of, say, the makeup that you put on for Vice?
It's an interesting thought. It's not for me to know whether one day, instead of me actually gaining the weight for a film like Vice and then having the wonderful talents of Greg Canham and Chris Gallagher to apply the makeup, if one day, I will just stick on cameras around my head and it'll be created digitally. I don't know if it will ever become that advanced to create that, but the speed at which these improvements are happening, I wouldn't be surprised. But certainly it's very interesting to explore all the different avenues that technology is affording us in storytelling.
You've spoken about your character Bagheera, and the way that he's portrayed in this film is unlike what we've seen before. He is a product of his environment, and he represents decency when he could have turned evil like Sher Khan.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, very much. He's someone who is a damaged individual in the same way that Sher Khan is. He was brought up in confinement and saw his mother die. He could have enormous hatred and bitterness, but he chooses not to. He chooses, as you say, to be compassionate and full of love, compared to Sher Khan, who has chosen hatred and bitterness. He calls Mowgli little brother, and he's a very noble creature, but also capable of savagery when he requires it. And obviously we see in The Run, out of love for Mowgli, he treats him more harshly than anybody else because he recognizes that man, as Kipling says, is the weakest, the most defenseless of all the animals. And he wants him to be able to survive. and for that, he does have to be harsh towards Mowgli at times.
That's about it. Thank you.
Okay.
All the best for the film. I really liked it.
Thank you.
Mowgli, you are one of them.